Hello, and welcome to Take 5 to Thrive for the Love of Music. I'm Kim Cannon, Creative Director of Sonic Healing Environment, and I'd like to invite you on a journey as I share thoughts on music, mood, and emotion, and about how and why the human psyche is so moved by music and sound. Since ancient times, the impacts of music on mood and brain states have been discussed by both philosopher, scientist, composer, and musician. While music is the primary topic throughout the series, frequencies and sound will be covered to gain a deeper understanding on our universal yet unique responses. Music is a provocative entity, subjective yet abstract, innate yet ethereal. Statements like these will be unfolded as the journey continues. French philosopher René Descartes once wrote, "The basis of music is sound. Its aim is to please and arouse the affections." In modern terms, that word affections mean emotions. Most of the human population contain a deep well of innate musical recognition and appreciation. An example is the synchronicity of an infant who has never been taught to move in time with the beat. This phenomenon, known as entrainment, is present even when the pulse beat is more perceived rather than felt. Foot tapping and response to rhythm is an obvious example. Simple melodies are another example. In most listeners, when certain melodic passages are heard, feelings arise, either uplifting or melancholy, depending on the sequential array of musical notes. The order of musical tones is an important factor in mood effect. To give a musical example, a 1 to 5 major interval, otherwise known as the perfect fifth, elicits a pleasant and uplifting effect. Think Twinkle Little Star or Star Wars theme, and even The Last Post. In contrast, the minor third interval produces a more somber or melancholy feeling. Certain folk tunes, such as Greensleeves. Where do these responses come from? Could breakthroughs in neuroscience begin to explain physiological and psychological responses to music and sound? Or do these expanded observations make it more difficult to pinpoint cause and effect? Is there perhaps a more elusive line of investigation beyond the current realms of comprehension? These questions and others are important in the understanding of the connections between music, mood, and emotion. Research conclusions on music-based therapies are abundant. However, even with a wide body of evidence towards great outcomes and no side effects, music therapy remains an underutilized and underestimated medium in mainstream health treatments. In this current time in history, an imbalance in mental health stability has become a widespread issue. Music and sound therapies can positively affect mood, emotion, and even physical states, and therefore are needed now more than ever. The ancient Greek philosopher and scientist Aristotle stated over 2,000 years ago, "Music directly imitates the passions or states of the soul. When one listens to music that imitates a certain passion and, if over a long period of time he habitually listens to music that rouses ignoble passions, his whole character will be shaped to an ignoble form." Aristotle, it seems, was well aware of the power of music to affect not only passions and moods, but the whole character over time. The use of soundscapes in public places for behavioural modification, although not new, is worth mentioning at this point. Classical music is often played through speakers placed in car parks and shopping centres to keep crime rates in check. Studies have looked into the effectiveness of this strategy, and apparently it works. So, what type of music elicits greater mood effect? Is it primarily classical or Mozart? In the mid-19th century, absolute music was a phrase coined to describe abstract instrumental music. The idea was that this pure music transcended representation and form. Music without words was, in essence, more aesthetically pure and therefore transcended mere entertainment. To the listener's ears, what is not being said is more likely to provoke an emotional response. Many listeners in the 21st century, most notably adults, are swayed towards instrumental music, citing that words and lyrics can detract or distract from calming states. When promoting alpha states, that is, an awake but resting state, the predominant musical offerings are instrumentals and natural soundscapes. Instrumentation is also an important consideration, which brings us now to a new discussion on frequency preference. For more information, you can follow me on social media at Sonic Healing Environment or Kim Cannon with an AN, not ON. Please stay tuned for the next Take 5 to Thrive series, Part 2 on music, mood and emotion. Sila is the song that you've been hearing in the background, and it's off my album Harp by Moonlight, and you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon or other digital platforms.